Hello everyone, and welcome to the weird, scary and horrible parts of humanity. Today we are looking at the tourist from hell, an international mass-murdering sociopath, John Martin Scripps, who in 1996 was the first Briton executed in Singapore following her independence in 1965. Born to Leonard and Jean Scripps on the 9th of December 1959 in Letchworth, Hertfordshire, the United Kingdom, Scripps travelled frequently with his dad as a lorry driver, with the family moving to London when Scripps was young. Scripps' dad committed suicide when he was 9 in 1968, which understandably deeply impacted a young Scripps, who developed problems with writing and reading and eventually dropped out of school at the age of 15, semi-literate. Scripps also began doing odd jobs and selling antiques. A petty criminal, Scripps first came to the attention of law enforcement at the age of 15, when he was sentenced to 12 months conditional discharge and fined £10 by the Highgate Juvenile Court in May 1974, about £95 in today's money. Undeterred, Scripps continued committing robberies and had stolen 3 more times by 1974 before escalating to indecent assault in June 1978, for which he was fined £40, about £198 in today's money. Scripps had gained a lengthy rap sheet before his teenage years ended. Travelling on stolen money, Scripps met Maria Pilar Arellanos of Cancun, Mexico, and married her in 1980. Where the pair met is debated, with evidence that they met in Montreal, Canada, and potentially in Mexico. The two travelled for 2 years together until 1982, when Scripps was sentenced to jail for 3 years for theft, burglary, and resisting arrest. During a home visit in June 1985, Scripps ran away and burgled again, just a few months before his eventual release. Sentenced again to 3 years in prison, a fed-up and frustrated Arellanos left Scripps for PC Ken Cold, with Scripps stealing PC Cold's clothes when released on home leave. Eventually, PC Cold divorced Arellanos and she returned to Cancun. Following his release from prison, Scripps upped his criminal profession, smuggling drugs between Asia and Europe. Arrested at Heathrow Airport in 1987 for drug possession, police found a key to a safety deposit box in a bank on Orchard Road in Singapore. Singapore's Central National Bureau seized 1.5 kilograms of heroin worth $1 million from the safety deposit box, with Scripps sentenced to 7 years in jail by Southwark Crown Court. Having escaped during home leave and rearrested, Scripps was sentenced to a further 6 years in jail by Winchester Crown Court in July 1992. While at Albany Prison on the Isle of Wight from February 1992 to August 1993, Scripps was a model prisoner and promoted to being a butcher, which would become a fatal decision. Prison caterer James Quigley and fellow inmates taught Scripps how to dismember animals and remove bones after their slaughter. Scripps noted to Quigley that he would like to open a butcher shop following his release. On the 20th of August 1993, Scripps was transferred to the Mount Prison in Hemel Hempstead, Hertfordshire. Having sold all of his belongings to fellow prisoners, Scripps escaped while on home leave in October 1994, having been denied parole 2 weeks before. Following his sentence to death, Scripps' mother, Jean Scripps, noted that she had asked prison authorities not to release him, believing that he intended to escape. Scripps' mother gave him £200 to travel overseas, and he utilised the birth certificate of inmate Simon James Davis to get a passport in his name. In late September 1993, Scripps reported to the British Embassy in Mexico City, stating that he had lost his passport and was provided a replacement. Perhaps the Times newspaper summed it up best in a headline in 1995 noting, "Prison blunders left Scripps to roam free." What happened to Scripps after this, and the number of people he murdered, is unknown. He is suspected of killing 28-year-old British tourist Timothy McDowell in Belize, with a substantial amount of money found to have been transferred from McDowell into Scripps' bank account. He is also suspected of murdering 24-year-old William Shackle, a British tourist in Cancun, Mexico. Scripps was investigated for the murder of a 25-year-old male prostitute, Tommy Wenger, in San Francisco in March 1994, but this investigation proved fruitless when it was found that Scripps was living in an English halfway house at the time of the murder. He was also investigated for another murder in Arizona. Scripps arrived in Singapore from San Francisco on the 8th of March 1995 at 2 a.m. local time under the pseudonym Simon Davis. Scripps adopted the modus operandi of posing as a tourist and talking with fellow Caucasians aboard flights or while they were waiting at airports, offering to stay in the same hotel as his victims before using an electroshock weapon to immobilize them, striking them with a hammer and using the butcher skills that he learnt while he was in prison, cutting them up and mutilating their bodies. South African Gerard George Lowe left his native Johannesburg for Singapore to shop for electrical goods on the 7th of March 1995, arriving the next day. Scripps met Lowe at Changi Airport and suggested that they share a room together to save on costs. The pair booked into room 1511 of the Riverview Hotel off Havelock Road, Singapore, which is now the 4 Points by Sheraton. Utilising his modus operandi, Scripps whacked Lowe over the head with a hammer while Lowe was writing a shopping list. Scripps then ordered Lowe to give him his bank account number. He then forced Lowe to strip and get into the bathtub before severing his spine and slashing his throat. Scripps then washed the blood away and dismembered the body with a boning knife, putting the body into plastic bags that he hid in the room's closet. He cleaned the bathroom meticulously and practiced Lowe's signature in order to forge it. Following a shopping spree on Lowe's credit card, Scripps returned to the room, putting the bags in a large suitcase, taking a taxi to the Singapore harbour and dumping the remains in the harbour, keeping the suitcase. He then asked a hotel receptionist to delete Lowe's name from the room registration system, stating that Lowe was a homosexual. Homosexuality, including to this day, is illegal in Singapore. However, this request was denied. Lowe did not return to Johannesburg as planned on the 12th of March and, contrary to his normal travel plans, made no contact with his partner, Vanessa Lowe, or his colleagues, with Vanessa Lowe reporting him missing. On the 13th of March 1995, a pair of legs severed at the knees were found in a plastic bag floating on Clifford Pier, a former pier located beside Collier Quay at Marina Bay in Singapore, which opened in 1933 and closed in 2006. 3 days later, a pair of thighs and a torso were found in a plastic bag in the same area. Utilising the missing report of Lowe from the South African High Commission to Singapore, his body was identified by Vanessa Lowe on the 1st of April 1995, with his arms and head never found. By this stage, Scripps had already left the country and flew to Bangkok, Thailand on the 11th of March 1995. Scripps befriended Canadians Sheila Demude and her college-aged son Dan Demude, who flew from Bangkok to Phuket on the 15th of March, with the three tragically sitting in the same row. They checked in together to Nilly's Marina Inn, facing the infamous Patong Beach, the main beach resort on Phuket and the centre of Phuket's nightlife and shopping. Scripps was given room 48 in Nilly's Marina Inn, and the Demudes were given the adjacent room 43, following breakfast, which was eaten on the 16th of March 1995. At about 11 a.m. local time, the Demudes were never seen again. Scripps asked the Nilly's Marina Inn receptionist to switch his room to 43, stating that the Demudes had left and he offered to pay their bill. How the Demudes were murdered is unknown, but it is believed that Scripps incapacitated them with his stun gun which he had brought from Singapore, hit them repeatedly with a hammer, dismembered them, and washed their blood away with a hose from the bungalow. On the 19th of March, the Demudes' skulls were found in a disused tin mine in the Kafu district in the west of Phuket. On the 24th of March, the pair's arms and legs were found along Ban Nai Trang Road, 9.7 kilometers away from where their skulls were found. Forensic analysis concluded that the torso, arms, and legs were likely to be Sheila's, while the other parts of Darren's body were never found. For an unknown reason, Scripps left Phuket for Singapore on the 19th of March 1995 using the passport with the assumed name Simon Davis. Police had put the name on their wanted list on the 14th of March after it was determined that someone under that name had checked in with Lowe into the Riverview Hotel. Had Scripps travelled elsewhere, or had he travelled under a different name, he would not have been caught. Taken to a police interview room, Scripps smashed a glass panel and attempted to cut his wrist in a suicide attempt. He was taken to Alexandra Hospital in Queenstown, Singapore for treatment. Police searched Scripps' bags and found 2 British passports issued to Davis, Lowe's South African passport, and both of the Damude's Canadian passports, with Scripps' photograph affixed in the passports. They also found credit cards belonging to Sheila Damude and Gerald Lowe, as well as Simon Davis's birth certificate, and the objects Scripps had used to commit the murders. Scripps was charged on the 21st of March under the name of Simon James Davis for forging Lowe's signature on a DBS bank credit card and obtaining 6,000 Singaporean dollars in cash on the 9th of March 1995, approximately $4,400 US. 3 days later, Scripps was charged under his real name for the murder of Lowe. It was later found that Scripps had forged Lowe's signature 5 more times in order to obtain cash and goods worth 3,200 Singaporean dollars or $2,300 US. Attempting to explain that he had killed Lowe in self-defense, Scripps argued that a friend gave him the passports of the Damudes while he was in Phuket, and he had never met them. On the 10th of November 1995, Scripps was sentenced to death, and on the 15th of December 1995, he announced that he would appeal the sentence before dropping his appeal on the 4th of January 1996, 4 days before it was due to be heard. As well as turning down a chance to petition the Singaporean President Ong Teng Chong, stating that he wanted to get it over with and was tired of waiting. On April the 15th, 1996, it was announced that Scripps would be hanged on the 19th of April, with all executions taking place in Singapore on Friday mornings at 6 a.m. The British Foreign Office issued a statement noting that they would not be condemning his execution. Scripps spent his last days writing semi-literate letters to Agelanos. His mother and sisters were the only long-term support he had while on death row, with the British Foreign Office not intervening. Scripps' mother noted, "These bastards have no right to take my son's life." Following a last meal of pizza and hot chocolate, Scripps was executed at 6 a.m, left to hang for 20 minutes before being released to his family at 10:30 a.m, wrapped in a white sheet and taken to a funeral parlour to be cremated. The ashes were brought back to Britain by his mother and sister. But what made Scripps do it? What made this petty criminal turned drug dealer become a murderer? As Scripps said during his trial, "I may have worked in the butchery, but cutting up a human body is another thing." British psychologist Ian Stephen put it down to the suicide of Scripps' father, which festered into anger and fantasies of getting revenge. Others have noted the financial aspects, with him going on a shopping spree following Lowe's death and having the credit cards of the Damudes. However, the exact reason, and indeed the number of people John Martin Scripps killed, may never be known. Thank you for watching. Please do yourself a favour and hit that like and subscribe button and the bell icon to inform you when new videos come out. It helps more than you know and your support is truly appreciated. You'll also be seeing 2 other videos for you to check out. Until next time, stay awesome, stay classy, be kind to everyone you meet, and have an amazing day.